Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So I've just watched two of the matches tonight in the Champions League of course as well. I've potentially just had the glimpse of the current highlights of course as well. So I will give you my analysis of what I've currently saw on the highlights of course as well. So potentially I will start with the Tottenham Manchester City game of course. So Tottenham won tonight against Manchester City by 1-0 of course as well, and these are going to be nights that Tottenham are not currently going to forget to be quite honest, because obviously tonight this was their first European match at their new stadium of course, and they beat Manchester City of course by 1-0. And what I saw in the highlights, thought Tottenham really deserved it. I thought the swift of their attack looked very good indeed. They created quite a lot of chances as well, did Tottenham. I think Manchester City, what I saw tonight were very disappointing indeed, to be quite honest with you. And really Hugo Lloris in the Tottenham goal didn't really have much to do, to be quite honest with you. I do know, obviously, we do know that Sergio Aguero had missed a penalty, of course, as well. Potentially, VAR had intervened, to give this penalty decision, because I think allegedly Danny Rose had currently the ball had hit Danny Rose's hand, so potentially the penalty had been given, but Aguero had missed a penalty, and Hugo Lloris had currently saved it, of course, as well. But Tottenham did have chances of their own. Tottenham will have slight concerns, about Harry Kane as well. He currently went off injured in the game. Hopefully, from a Tottenham perspective, his injury is not too currently serious, of course, because he actually he limped off in the game, did Harry Kane. But potentially, this is a big win for Tottenham. This will give them a lot of confidence, going into the second leg. Of course, I think it was Heung-min Son, who got the only goal of the game. I think it was in the 78-minute mark, and it was good work ethic, from Heung-min Son. It was really good. He had lots to do, when he received the ball, and he was a really good finisher in the end. I think that's his 18th goal this season for Tottenham as well. He's Heung-min Son's. So potentially that was enough, to give Tottenham victory at their new stadium in their first European game, of course. But Tottenham are the way, there's still a long way to go in the time. Obviously now, they've got to go to Manchester City away as well. And obviously, if Tottenham can go there, with confidence, if they can go there, and hold their defensive line, and they go there and defend really well, they can, and I think they are capable of going over to Manchester City, of course, and getting an away goal. But again, we know that Manchester City are capable of scoring 3 or 4 goals at the Etihad, because the home record is so very good indeed. Manchester City's. As I did say, I don't think that Manchester City will win the quadruple. To be quite honest with you, I don't think they'll win the quadruple, because I do think, they'll get knocked out of the Champions League. And I think Tottenham are capable of going over there and doing something. If Tottenham are to get an away goal, then that's going to intensify more pressure on Manchester City, of course, as well. So potentially, there's still a long way to go in the tie, but this is a great memorable moment tonight for Tottenham Hotspur fans, of course, as well. So that's a great victory from a Tottenham perspective. But as I did currently say, Tottenham still know that they need investment in their squad this summer. If they're going to be up there, challenging, of course, as well. And potentially, they're still fighting to get the top 4 in the Premier League, of course, because, there's quite a few teams, going for that top 4. Obviously, Manchester City, from there, perspective, if they are to choose out the Champions League and Premier League, obviously, they'd rather go for the Champions League, because City have actually, never won the Champions League, of course, as well. But potentially, City obviously, try to win the Premier League as well. Obviously, they're going for their 4th Premier League title, of course. It's obviously between City and Liverpool for the league this year. Obviously, the more Liverpool keep winning the league, obviously, it's going to intensify, more pressure on Manchester City, because if Man City win every game from now to the end of the season in the Premier League, of course, City do win the Premier League, of course. But City have got a game in hand over Liverpool, of course. As it stands at the moment, Liverpool are 2 points clear at the top, above Manchester City, of course, as well. And we'll go into the Liverpool-Porto game as well. Liverpool won tonight against Porto by 2-0. Saw some of the highlights, of course, as well. I think Liverpool were 2-0 up in the first 26 minutes of the game, of course, as well. Naby Keita getting his name on the score sheet again for Liverpool. He actually scored against Southampton as well, and that was actually his first goal for the club, Naby Keita's. So Naby Keita, I think it was deflected, was the goal, but it still went into the net, to be quite honest with you. So he gave Liverpool the lead. The second goal was from Roberto Firmino, of course, I think just after the 25th minute mark, and that was enough to give Liverpool victory against Porto. So obviously, they've got a 2-goal advantage now, and it's looking likely they're going to get to the semi-finals of the Champions Champions League, of course, as well. And I think Roberto Firmino also got an assist as well, and he did get the second goal. I think Roberto Firmino got the assist for Naby Keita's first goal, of course, as well. So potentially Liverpool, obviously, obviously they want to win the Champions League as well, but obviously they'll be focusing more on the Premier League, where Liverpool, of course, Liverpool have got a big game on Sunday against Chelsea, of course, as well. So Chelsea are capable of denting, Liverpool's title hopes, without a shadow of a doubt, indeed. But as I said, Liverpool invested really well, indeed. They invested well last summer. I think they recommended about 5 players. I think 5 players came to Liverpool last summer. They addressed the defensive deficiencies with Virgil van Dijk, who they got in January of last year. He's been fantastic for them. I think they've got a great attacking trio in Firmino, Salah, and Mane, of course, as well. And they're a really good trio, to be quite honest with you. Salah's one of the best in the Premier League in terms of an attacking intent, without a shadow of a doubt. Not the best forward or winner, but in terms of an attacking intent, his work ethic's good, his physicality is very good, his pace is absolutely unbelievable. It's unbelievable how he gets all them runs in behind, Mohamed Salah. I think Sadio Mane is a great player. He can create chances, he can also provide, he can score goals as well. I don't think he's on the same level as Mohamed Salah, but I do think, Sadio Mane is a very good player for Liverpool. I think, Jordan Henderson, has been playing well for Liverpool, quite recently as well. Jordan Henderson hasn't done too bad as well. So potentially it's looking likely Liverpool are going to be in the semi-finals of the Champions League, of course, well. But they have still, obviously, got to go to Porto, of course, and I think, they get the away goal over there. You could say the tie is currently wrapped up as well. So potentially, Manchester City, they still believe, obviously, they can definitely, overcome a 1-goal deficit. Of course, they have got the quality in the team of Manchester City, of course. Pep Guardiola spent a lot of money at Manchester City, of course. All in all, he spent about £1 billion in all his career as Pep Guardiola, but more than half of that has been spent at Manchester City, of course, as well. He spent a lot of money on that Manchester City team. The performance was way below par tonight, was Manchester City's, and the performance was underwhelming, to be quite honest with you. And they didn't really turn up tonight. They had periods in the game, where they were controlling the game, in my opinion, Manchester City. The highlights I did see, but Hugo Lloris didn't really have much to do, so they didn't really create many opportunities, Manchester City. But Tottenham had chances of their own, where, Manchester City goalkeeper had to make a couple of saves as well. But Tottenham will be concerned about Harry Kane having to come off in the game, of course, as well. So potentially, yeah, so as we all currently know now, basically we know the big game tomorrow for my club, Manchester United. We're going against Barcelona tomorrow night, of course. Well, should I say today now, because obviously it's past midnight, of course, as well. Tonight, should I say, sorry, Man United coming up against Barcelona. We do know it's going to be a big game, indeed. We have got some concerns, going ahead into the game, of course, because we are coming up against an elite opposition. Of course, we have got an injury crisis, of course. Well, I think that 3 or 4 players are out, either, or something like that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did say on my last video, has currently confirmed in his press conference that Ander Herrera, I think he did say in relation to Ander Herrera, he's not, I think he said Ander Herrera is probably out. This is what Solskjaer said. Sanchez and Marcus Rashford have returned to training, which is good news, but Sanchez will not be playing, I don't think, but he has returned to training because obviously he's had a knee injury, Alexis Sanchez. Marcus Rashford, we are hopeful that Marcus Rashford's going to be fit for tonight, of course, as well. I hope to God that Rashford's fit, because he's been a great player for Manchester United. He's growing, developing, he's flourishing in this team fantastically well with Manchester United, is Marcus Rashford, as we all know. But reportedly, he just recently, sustained an ankle injury as Marcus Rashford, as we all know. This is why he didn't play against Wolves and all that as well. But potentially, he has been training as Marcus Rashford, which is very good news indeed. So hopefully, Marcus Rashford can be available tonight against Barcelona, of course. Well, I don't know if he'll start or not, but I think he could be participating. Rashford, we do basically know, he said in relation to Matic as well. I think he sustained an injury as well as Matic. I think Solskjaer said that he's still hopeful that Matic, will be fit to participate. So reportedly, Solskjaer's basically said he's still hopeful that Matic, can be ready for the game. So Matic may be playing, I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you. But he has confirmed that Valencia and Eric Bailly have definitely out for the clash, of course, as well. So we have got a few injury, crisis, going into the game, of course, as well. Because don't forget, Manchester United, don't forget, we are coming up against an elite opposition. We're coming up against one of the best teams in the world, of course. They're going to be winning the La Liga again. This is fourth in 5 seasons, and it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the likes of Chris Smalling and Victor Lindelof, you know, coming up against the likes of Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez, of course, as well. So we've got to sort of like figure, you know, Lionel Messi out. You know, we can't allow him to have the ball too much. We can't allow the likes of Suarez, you know, to have the ball too much, of course, as well. So essentially, we've sort of somewhere along the line, you know, we've got to figure a line on a Messi out, of course. But Barcelona, a big club, as I said, with an ecstatic stadium, of course, the facilities as well are very, very good. You know, they've got loads of money. They're one of the richest clubs in the world, and they are a well-established club, are Barcelona, of course, as well. So potentially, Manchester United have got to be on the game, because most recently we have been in a bad vein of form. You know, we've got some players that have really, really got to step up to the plate, of course, well, because most recently there's been a lot of bad individual performances, and there's been a lot of players, you know, performing below par, of course, as well. So hopefully Marcus Rashford, you know, can be fit for this game. But you never know in football, guys, because look what we did in the last round against PSG. We performed a fantastic, miraculous comeback. It was one of the greatest Champions League comebacks of all time, of course, and we made history in the Champions League, which is very, very good indeed. We was 2-0 down for the first leg against PSG, so we had to turn around a 2-goal deficit, and we did it fantastically well in the second leg against PSG. You know, we won 3-1, and we had 10 first team players out, of course, well. So anything is possible in football, of course. Obviously, we're going to be the underdogs going into the game. Obviously, Barcelona, of course, as well, are going to be obviously, you know, one of the favourites to win the Champions League, of course, as well. So potentially, as we all know, I don't think Barcelona are as good as they were, you know, when they beat us in the Champions League final in 2011 and the Champions League final in 2009. And you know, they can be beaten, can Barcelona, because we did it 11 years ago. You know, Scholes scored the goal in the semi-final, of course, and we won 1-0. But I know that we are going to concede over these 2 legs against Barcelona, of course, because Barcelona have got the players, they've got the quality in the team, and we've got problems defensively, of course, and I don't think we're good enough to keep a clean sheet against Barcelona over the course of these 2 legs, of course, well. But the one thing I do like is, you know, I think, you know, one good thing I do like is when we do go into the second leg against Barcelona at the Nou Camp, it's going to bring back a lot of memories for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, 20 years ago, you know, scoring the win in 1999 at the Nou Camp against Bayern Munich and winning Manchester United the treble, of course, and that was one of his most iconic moments as a player, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But potentially, as I did say, you know, Manchester United, you know, we've definitely, you know, got to be on our game, you know, against this Barcelona team. You know, Messi's probably, you know, still arguably the best player in the world, of course, as well. Most recently, he's been in sensational form. So the question is, can Manchester United stop line on Messi? And that is the question. One good finish, Pogba's going to be available for this game, of course, well, because obviously he didn't play in Paris, because obviously he had a 1-match ban, of course, as well. And Pogba's got to really step up to the plate, because I've analysed Pogba's performances in this 3-month or so period, or just over 3 months, and overall his performances have really, really improved. His form has been rejuvenated, of course, but most recently his performances have been below par of Paul Pogba's. And as I did say, like I said to you guys, I was comparing, you know, Paul Pogba and Ivan Rakitic, of course, as well. And I think when Paul Pogba's on his game, when he's playing really, really well, and when he's playing in the right vein, and I think Paul Pogba is better than Ivan Rakitic. Don't get me wrong, I think Ivan Rakitic is a very, very good midfielder for Barcelona. And obviously, he's got a good pedigree. The majority of his silverware he's won has obviously, you know, become at Barcelona, Ivan Rakitic, of course, as well. And Ivan Rakitic, as I said, he's a lot older than Paul Pogba. You know, Ivan Rakitic is, 31 years of age, and Paul Pogba's only 26, so Ivan Rakitic is about 5 or 6 years older than Paul Pogba, of course, as well. There has actually been speculation of Ivan Rakitic leaving Barcelona, considering that Barcelona have obviously, you know, got Frankie de Jong, of course, you know, coming in the new season. Coming in the new season, of course, as well. Barcelona have got Frankie de Jong coming in. Obviously, they agreed the fee with Ajax last summer for around £65 million, so potentially it is a year in advance. And reports are saying that Ivan Rakitic could find game time hard. It could be surplus to requirements, you know, when Frankie de Jong does arrive at Barcelona in the summer, of course, as well. Potentially, you know, Barcelona, you know, have also got Ousmane Dembele, who I really, really like. He's very, very young, Ousmane Dembele. You know, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think he's going to be involved tonight, is Ousmane Dembele, because he did recently say he had a hamstring injury, and he sustained quite a few injuries as a Barcelona player, as Ousmane Dembele. I think this is his second season out at Barcelona, but he has sustained quite a few injuries as a Barcelona player, Ousmane Dembele. Barcelona paid around £106 million for him a couple of years back from Borussia Dortmund, of course, as well. But if he does participate, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the likes of Luke Shaw coming up against Ousmane Dembele, of course, as well. But we do know, guys, it's going to be a very, very extremely difficult game indeed, as we all know. And So yeah, we'll just basically, see what happens. I'm really, really looking forward to it, of course. But Man United have got to step up to the plate, and I think Barcelona are going to maintain a lot of possession. I think Manchester United are happy, for Barcelona, to maintain a lot of possession. But somewhere along the line, we've got to figure them out. We know that my team, Man United, can be good on the counter attack. We can get given opportunities in that game, and if we do get given opportunities tonight, we have got to take them opportunities, and we've got to be clinical, of course, as well. And that is the most essential thing, indeed. And I want to give you another update on Marcus Rashford as well. Reports are coming out earlier on, as I've just seen, that reportedly Rashford is close on signing a deal. I think signing a 70 million deal, reportedly something like that. So reportedly, the club, Rashford, reportedly is in advanced talks with Manchester United over a new 5-year contract, reportedly as well. And reportedly in the process, Man United are closing in on getting Marcus Rashford a new contract at the club as well. And I think it's a deal worth around £70 million reportedly, because now reports are saying he's on the verge of signing a new 5-year contract worth around £300,000 a week reportedly as well. So his wages will increase by nearly 4 times reportedly as well, because Rashford at the moment is currently on £80,000 a week. His current contract ends in the summer of 2020, but there's also an option of further year, of course, as well. So potentially, Rashford's demanding that he wants wages of around £300,000 a week. So if he's on £80,000 a week at the moment, that's £220,000 increase on his current wages, of course, as well. So potentially he's demanding that he wants the same amount of wages than what currently Wayne Rooney was on, because obviously when Wayne Rooney was at Manchester United, he was on also £300,000 a week, of course, well, because obviously Wayne Rooney served 12 years as a Manchester United player. Of course, our all-time leading goal scorer with 253 goals, of course, well, but he served 12 years with Manchester United. So Rashford is demanding that he wants around £300,000 a week, reportedly. Marcus Rashford obviously is attracted interest from Barcelona and Real Madrid, based on his fantastic performances this season, and his performances have been really, really good, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming as well. Obviously, we know he's been first choice mainly over Romelu Lukaku, and I do think, Rashford, looks very, very effective centrally. Since he's recovered from his initial first ankle injury he has sustained, he hasn't been playing to his potential best. He hasn't really been like lightning like he usually is, Marcus Rashford. But yeah, I really, really highly rate him. He's still 21. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, as Marcus Rashford, as we all know, and he's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's progressed up the ranks fantastically well. He's been in the senior squad with Manchester United since 2016, as Marcus Rashford as well. So potentially we're willing to give him a new 5-year contract worth £300,000 a week, and I think the whole deal is worth around £70 million, of course, as well. So potentially it's looking likely, we're going to agree Rashford a new 5-year deal, which will take him under contract with the club until 2024, of course, as well. But potentially, as we all currently know, there is still quite a few, contract renewals to sort out, as well. We've got David De Gea as well. He's demanding, he wants around £350,000 a week. If he's to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, and if he's to remain loyal at Manchester United, because let's be honest, he's been a great servant for Manchester United, of course, as David De Gea. This is what his 8th season now at the club. David De Gea, as we all know, he's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. He's got 100 Premier League clean sheets as David De Gea. I know he's still under contract here until the summer of 2020, and Manchester United have been in talks of getting David De Gea a new contract term at the club. Man United have been in talks of getting David De Gea a new contract term at the club, but potentially he's demanding wages of £350,000 a week. Reportedly, Man United are not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands, reportedly, as well. And Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea, as we all know. It's now recently saying that PSG are reportedly interested in David De Gea. So potentially, if we are forced to sell him in the summer, I've emphasised, 2 targets who could replace him, and that's Everton, Jordan Pickford, and Atletico Madrid, Blanc, of course, as well. So I hope De Gea does remain loyal to Manchester United, but Man United are not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demand. So potentially, he wants to be the highest paid player alongside Alexis Sanchez at the club as well. As I did say, what currently Alexis Sanchez is receiving, it's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way, because now we've got quite a few players that are demanding, quite a bit more money, as we all know, as well. And obviously, I think, probably, Juan Mata's on his way out of the club this summer as well. It's looking like, because he comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season, but I think initially he could be on his way out of the club in the summer. Obviously, Barcelona have been in talks of getting actually Juan Mata on a free transfer, of course. And I think Juan Mata has been a good servant to Manchester United. This is his 5th season in the process. He's got a great pedigree in the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League a number of years now, as Juan Mata. This is his 5th season at Manchester United. He served 2.5, 3 years with Chelsea, of course, well. But I think since he's been at United, he's made over 2 200 odd appearances in all competitions as well. Matt, I think he scored about 50 goals in the Premier League of course as well. I think Man United have been in talks of getting him a new deal. I don't think it will be a new long-term deal considering that he's age 30, so potentially Man United may be willing to offer him a new 1-year extension or something like that as well. But he had a lot of experience of playing in Spain when he was young. You know, he began his career with Madrid where he'd risen up the ranks. You know, he had 4 years in Spain with Valencia under Ruben Ramirez, so he may want to make a return back to Spain, Juan Mata, of course, as well. So he could be on his way out. You know, obviously we've got Ander Herrera, of course, as well. It's looking likely he's going to be going to PSG in his summer, because obviously reports came out the other week, as every United fan mainly, you know, would have updated you on that. Reportedly he's agreed a deal to join PSG on a free in the summer. He's agreed a deal to join PSG on a 3 in the summer, and I think it's a 3-year deal worth around, is it over £170,000 a week, something like that. Initially, again, he was demanding a wage increase. He was demanding he wanted around £200,000 a week. You know, if he was to commit his future at Manchester United, his long-term future, and if he was to remain loyal at Manchester United. But reportedly, Man United were not willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demands. But again, Ander Herrera's been a great servant at the club, as we all know. I think he's nearly made about 200 appearances for Manchester United, of course, in all competitions under Herrera, and he has been a good servant to the club. And overall, I've analysed his performances under Solskjaer. Mainly, his performances have really improved. This is his 5th season at United. Of course, Manchester United paid £30 million for him, you know, from Atletico Bilbao, you know, back in 2014, of course, as well. He's tenacious. He's got a lot of tenacity about his play. He breaks up the play very well indeed, and mainly he has been fitting in that midfield trio very well. But he's not a 200 grand a week player. We do potentially know that we could get someone, you know, we obviously like iron out replacement for Ander Herrera now, and we can get someone better than Ander Herrera, because it's looking likely he's going to be going to PSG in the summer, of course, as well. So there's still lots of hard work, you know, to be done at Manchester United. You know, we've seen this season Smalling signing a new deal, Jones signing a new long-term deal as well, which I don't think Manchester United should have done, but their futures are still uncertain at United. It was good to see, you know, Martial this season signing a new 5-year deal as well. He's got great talent, and he's very young, you know, just like Marcus Rashford. So that was very good indeed. So there's still lots of hard work to be done at Manchester United, of course. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, you know, he's expected to orchestrate a big summer clear, and I think he's ready to sanction around 6 players off this summer. I think he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to Manchester United this summer. And of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows, obviously, identified, you know, the key areas where he thinks United need to strengthen up. We need a right back. We need a right winger. That's the priority for Solskjaer. We need a couple of additions in midfield. So we potentially need someone who can go alongside Pogba and Matic in our midfield, of course, as well. We need a central defender. I think on the left-hand side we're okay, because the majority of our attack is coming from that left-hand side, as we all know, as well. But Solskjaer wants to build a squad, you know, worthy of the club's history. But you can definitely see, you know, the deficiencies in the squad. If he wants to bring about 5 new players this summer, Solskjaer, that's going to cost us over around 200. I think it's going to cost us around £200 million, maybe more than £200 million, of course, as well. But maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. The most essential thing is, you know, the club are still looking to hire a director of football to come in as well. You know, as I've already updated you, you know, there's been a few names that have been mentioned in the phrase, of course, as well. You know, so we need a director of football to come in, you know, to change the club structure and all that as well. But it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's emphasising his targets. You know, he's making plans for the summer, and he's been in regular contact, you know, with Ed Woodward, as we all know, as well. But we've got to get the right players who've got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years. And, you know, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has got the job full time. Obviously, there's lots of hard work to be done, but his expectation levels is going to be in this 3 years, of course, because Solskjaer signed a 3-year deal. Is obviously, you know, to get Manchester United back to their powerhouse as we was under Alex Ferguson, and, you know, obviously, you know, get us back up there, you know, competing with the likes of City and Liverpool, and get us up there, you know, winning trophies, of course, as well. So for me, Solskjaer's definitely, you know, the right man. You know, even though we've been in a bad vein of form, you know, recently. I know Solskjaer hasn't got a great managerial pedigree in terms of like winning any major honours and all that. He hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, but he's at a club he loves. You know, he knows the club inside out. You know, from being a great player for 11 years, of course, you know, managing the reserve team for a couple of years as well. So potentially, he's watched this team now at this day and age. You know, some of this team now at this day and age, you know, grow and develop. You know, when he was managing the Manchester United reserve team, of course, you know, Paul Pogba, of course, was one of them as well. But he was a great player for 11 years. And Paul Pogba, you know, Solskjaer has said in relation to Paul Pogba, of course, as well. Solskjaer's basically insisted that Paul Pogba will not leave Manchester United. So basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been talking, basically saying that Solskjaer said, but he insists that Paul Pogba is happy at Manchester United. And Solskjaer probably still feels as though that Paul Pogba has got a future at Manchester United, because we do know there's been a lot of speculation, you know, linking him with a move to Real Madrid, of course, as well. Because reports came out from Spain a couple of, you know, week back saying that reportedly reportedly, reports came out of Spain a couple of weeks back saying that reportedly Paul Pogba's made a decision. Reportedly he wants to leave Manchester United this summer, and he's intending on making a move to Madrid this summer because obviously of what he said about Real Madrid a couple of weeks back. That could have concerns for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But I think actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spoken to Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But I think potentially Paul Pogba has spoken a lot about Real Madrid, and this may mean he isn't intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England with Manchester United, of course, as well. But Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of Paul Pogba, of course, as well. Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player because Zinedine Zidane has emphasised, quite a few times his interest in him. But Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of Paul Pogba. Obviously, if any offers do come this summer, for Paul Pogba, obviously Manchester United, of course, are going to turn them down. Paul Pogba, of course, still remains under contract with Manchester United till 2021. He's still got over 2 years left on his deal. I think there is an option of a further year as well, but now reports are saying that reportedly, I think Man United are in the process of beginning contract negotiations with Paul Pogba, to try and get him a new contract. But reportedly, Paul Pogba is demanding an astronomical salary of around £500,000 a week if he's to commit to a new contract with Manchester United, reportedly, as well. So potentially he's currently on £300,000 a week at the moment on his current deal, but reportedly he's demanding a £200,000 pay rise if he is to potentially, sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course, as well. I think we're keen on giving him a new 3-year deal, of course. There was talks about him, maybe making a return back to Italy, with Juventus, where he did have 4 great years. Obviously, Manchester United paid £89 million for him in 2016, so this is now he's nearly heading into his 4th season at the club, is Paul Pogba, of course, as well. So essentially, I don't think we'll let him go. Solskjaer's priority is to keep, De Gea and Paul Pogba at Manchester United, of course, as well. And I've already, give you an update on the current transfer rumours, that have been going on as well. We'll talk a little bit about more of that tomorrow, later on today, to be quite honest with you, as well, because obviously it's a bit late now, to be very, very late now, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I just wanted to give you mainly my analysis on the Tottenham Man City game. I saw the highlights, and the Liverpool Porto game, of course, as well. And so essentially Tottenham won by 1-0. This is a night they're not going to forget, the first European game at the new stadium, and beating Manchester City, of course, is going to be a night to remember, for Tottenham. Of course, the stadium looks very majestic indeed. I think it holds about 60-odd thousand supporters, of course, as well. And yeah, Manchester City will be disappointed, but I think, Manchester City are more than capable, of turning that 1-goal deficit around in the second leg. And City at home, when they're on fire, when they're dominating, they've got the quality in the team, they're capable of scoring at least 2, 3, maybe 4 goals, of course, as well. And Liverpool will be happy, as I said, winning 2-0 against Porto. Of course, obviously they're focusing more on the Premier League. They'll get both if they can, Liverpool, but obviously, you saw Liverpool get to the final last season, losing to Real Madrid 3-1, but potentially, Liverpool's focus will be more on the Premier League, of course. Obviously, Liverpool haven't won, the league for nearly 3 decades, of course, as well, so essentially, they want to win the league, Liverpool, and that's obviously their priority. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp obviously hasn't won out yet as Liverpool manager. He did win a couple of times, when he was at Borussia Dortmund, Jurgen Klopp, but Liverpool's goals, obviously, was from Naby Keita again. He scored against Southampton in the league, and Roberto Firmino, and Firmino also got an assist in the game, of course, as well. So essentially, yeah, so anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes on the channel. If you do consider subscribing to the channel, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again later on today. Thanks for watching, guys.